Are the Lakers and LeBron James going to be okay? Hey, we are now at that time. The Nuggets have eliminated the Lakers, so what comes immediately after that? Well, what's going to happen with LeBron? This has been multiple years in a row. And there was a post last night, I believe by SportsCenter or ESPN on Instagram, that basically the Nuggets have ruined every single thing that is supposed to happen in a celebratory way for the Los Angeles Lakers over like the last 5 years, maybe 6 years. The Nuggets are the nemesis of this Lakers and LeBron team. Now, Greeny's taking a victory lap saying that they should have tried to lose to the Pelicans so then they could play OKC, whatever. Darvin Ham's fired. LeBron James is leaving to go play somewhere else, or he's staying, and the Lakers are going to trade up to draft Bronny, who's going into the draft. What is real, what is not right now with the Lakers, LeBron, Darvin Ham, in an offseason that is going to be like every other one with question marks all over the place, Shams?
Yeah, so let's look at the series first. And the Lakers really feel like there were two very, very winnable games, especially game two. They were up 20 points in that game. They don't execute down the stretch, don't win that game. And that was really a heartbreaker for them internally, throughout the entire organization. You win that game, you're 1-1, you go back home. It's a totally different tenor of the series. And just overall in the regular season, the play that happened, they felt like they should have been a higher seed this year because, listen, you're playing in the play-in tournament race. You're putting yourself in a position where you're scratching and clawing just to make the playoffs, and then you're not able to dictate your future. And there was a point in December, January, where a couple rotation players, high-level starters, Austin Reaves, D'Angelo Russell, were benched for extended periods of times. And from what I'm told, that was perplexing to people inside that organization, obviously outside around the league, that organization. And the buck stops with Darvin Ham as the head coach as far as making those decisions. And so starting with Darvin Ham, if you will, LeBron James, of course, this has bigger implications throughout the sport. But Darvin Ham, I'm told his job is in serious peril. The expectation is that it is highly unlikely, from what I'm told, that he's going to be back for a third season as Lakers head coach. So you think about rotations that happen over the course of the season, the disconnect that really was there in the locker room in terms of adjustments, game plans. And you saw really in the second half of the season, the players took the onus of putting it on themselves and trying to right this ship. And they did. Listen, they won games. They got into the playoffs. They didn't have to play, in the 8th seed. So you're able to dictate your future in that way. But they wanted to be in a position where you're fighting for home court advantage. And post in-season tournament, they win the in-season tournament, right? They go 10 losses in 13 games. And that stretch really derailed their season in terms of them having ownership on their future. So that is the case with Darvin Ham. As far as LeBron James, that's a much bigger thing.
Hold on, let's talk about Darvin Ham. Hold on, let's finish on Darvin Ham here before we move to LeBron. Because I think he did an interview with McMenamin. Dave McMenamin. McMenamin, there it is. And some of these quotes coming out, it's almost like it's a fake quote, but it's real quotes, I think, coming out from Darvin Ham. If you're coaching a team and one of your stars is like 10 games in a row just shit in the bed, what are you going to do? I love that coming from a head coach who has been obviously missiled and torpedoed from outside. Common sense tends to go out the window when you talk about my job in particular. Now, I thought these were fake quotes whenever I read them because this is not normally how anybody would speak, especially around this time. But that's Bleacher Report. And McMenamin's real deal, right? McMenamin's real deal in his reporting. It's like, is Darvin Ham finally speaking up for himself? Is this how it's been? And is this because he knows the writing's on the wall? And how's D'Lo going to potentially take the photo that was used for that particular quote there, Shams?
Hey, D'Angelo Russell said the other day he doesn't need any motivation, I guess. He's self-motivated. So maybe he's not going to do anything with it. But this is really, I saw those. It's really a stretch, and it's in line with all the comments that have really been made over the course of the season publicly by Darvin Ham. And that's another thing people internally will look at and point to is the lack of somewhat accountability as far as whether it is a rotation gap, if there is an issue in terms of the game plan, the adjustment. The lack of ownership, accountability, it's not something, it's not something that I'm saying. This is something that I'm hearing internally has come up as an issue and something that, people do have to raise their eyebrows at. So, listen, I think there were stretches of time where D'Angelo Russell struggled over the course of the year. He picked it up in the second half of the season, and Darvin Ham stuck with him. throughout the playoff run, didn't bench him when he went through his woes in the playoffs. And you do have to give Darvin Ham this credit. He did lead this team to the Western Conference Finals a year ago. Players did have genuine respect for him as a coach, but or as a person. But as in my story last night, one player we had tell us, we also need to be coached as well. And that ultimately was something that Lakers executives, that's something that they're going to have to take into great account.
Hey, it was a good run. Well, they won in season.
Yeah,
they won the in season tourney, which I saw him celebrate. Okay, now let's get to the inaugural in season tournament MVP, LeBron James, and his future with the Lakers. From all accounts, it seems like there's different answers flying from different sources. Maybe he wants to leave. Maybe he's not going to take an option extension. Maybe they're going to draft Bronny. Maybe he wants to say he'll take less money. What is the real? What is the not at this exact point from your standpoint, Shams?
Yeah, I'm told LeBron James expects to play up to 2 NBA seasons, and that would take him to year 23 in the NBA, 23 seasons in the NBA. He just finished his 21st season. He has a $51.4 million player option for next season, and that does give him a great amount of flexibility, a good amount of leverage. He can opt into that deal, have an extension. He could opt out, reach a new extension. And what's interesting
he lost
here,
control of the ball.
It's a jump ball.
Yeah,
is 2 seasons. If LeBron James does decide 2 years, that's it. It's not going to be a third season. By the way, guys, from what I'm told and what we reported yesterday on this piece with The Athletic, the Lakers, Genie Bus, they'll go as far as offering him a 3-year, $164 million maximum contract if that's what it takes to keep LeBron James. If he wants to come back on a 1-year max, a 2-year max, a 3-year max, the Lakers are all in. And so the question is going to be with LeBron James, his agent Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, they're going to have to meet over the next few weeks and figure out just how long he wants to play in the NBA exactly. But he's going to have to really look at how the Lakers manage the offseason, what additions they make to the roster. One name to keep an eye on, Trae Young, potentially as a candidate. So between now, his option date is June 29th. And guys, this is interesting because June 29th is after the NBA draft and right before free agency. LeBron James will have all the answers he needs to have by that point. What happens with his son, Bronny James, if he does elect to stay in the draft? Another thing I reported, and we reported, the Lakers very much have interest in drafting Bronny James. They know LeBron James has spoken on the record about wanting to play with Bronny. And at the end of the day, he wants the best for Bronny. If that means Bronny James getting drafted by another team, making more guaranteed money, he's obviously going to be an advocate of that. But the Lakers have made it known to him and the world that they are very much in the game as far as trying to pick him. And they're going to have potentially a first-round pick and a second-round pick to bring him in. And in a perfect world, guys, having LeBron James and Bronny James on this team next season and moving forward, that is going to be at least one of the goals for the Lakers.
Okay, I think we've been talking about Trae Young potentially going to L.A. for like 2 years, right? I think
we were just there in All-Star Weekend. We talked about it when I was in the Thunderdome.
Okay, so that's kind of been alluded to. So Trae Young, Bronny, LeBron, AD.
Whoa.
Is Austin back next year? The White Hope?
Well, Austin Reaves, they love him. They want him to be.
Oh, that's a no.
Yeah.
Sounds like
the only trade where you move a guy like Austin Reaves is if you're getting a surefire all-star, all-NBA type player. Is Trae Young that guy? The Lakers front office, executives internally, they're going to have to meet and discuss and figure out, is Trae Young the type of player? But again, it's not going to be just exclusive to him. There's going to be other players that this organization, that they can come up with as far as a list of targets. But watching the playoffs, watching the second half of the season, could they need a top-flight point guard at that position? There were some inconsistencies with D'Angelo Russell. He did have a monster second half of the season. I have to give him credit.
Hell yeah.
He shot the ball lights out. He had a couple good games here in the playoffs against the Nuggets. But do you have an answer of something that could be an upgrade? And that's something Rob Pelinka and that front office is going to get to work on. But Trae Young is the type of player where if the Hawks, let's say in those conversations, they did have conversations around DeJounte Murray this season. So there already have been levels of conversation between those two front offices and organizations. And in those conversations, the Hawks did look at and ask for Austin Reaves. At that point, the Lakers were unwilling to give up Austin Reaves. But does Trae Young change their mind? We'll find out in the next couple months.
Okay, can't wait to watch it all unfold. Sound like the Jameses are going to be the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's what I just heard. I think that's going to be the case.
Well, listen, multiple teams are going to monitor.
All right, Sean. Yeah, Sean.
I think the Lakers have made it clear that they very much want to intend to stay in the LeBron James business by any means.
Got it. And that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
I was showing the game, traveling around. Hey, this is how you do dinner. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. Not that he hasn't already, but actually watching him.
Also, Pat, let's talk about this. The level that he's playing at right now. 21 season. Last night, 30 points. What do you have? 11 assists, 11 rebounds, whatever it was. 9 assists, not whatever. Like a 30, 11, and 9 game. This is year 21. He's 39 years old. I mean, the level he's playing at, I don't think anyone could have foreseen this late in his NBA career. So the Lakers know, and we were told, LeBron James isn't the problem. Anthony Davis isn't the problem. How do we continue to build around them and try to compete for another championship?
Sounds like all eyes are on a coach.
Yeah.
And Darvin Ham's gone. Hey, Darvin, you could get another gig.
Yeah,
maybe with the Phoenix Suns, and then that'll last a year.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you'd be gone just like old Frank, who had a hell of a run here in Indiana for a while.